Welcome back. It is cheapo time again in the cheapo nation. Today in the spotlight, the BTMETER BT-770N for your pleasure. BTMETER BT-770N. It's been around for a while, but it's about time I took a closer look. Telling you this meter is feature packed. It comes with everything except the kitchen sink. And you know what? I think that's an option. Hey, Christmas is a-coming. Don't forget that on Christmas Day, I'm doing that draw. If you haven't already seen the UNI-T UT61E Plus review, go check it out. Leave a comment, and you're automatically entered to win a UNI-T multimeter on Christmas Day. Gonna be fun. All right, what do we get in that proverbial box? Well, we get a bag. That's where we get a carry case, courtesy of BTMETER. Seeing this more and more often. Great stuff. Always nice to have that handy-dandy pouch or carry case for all the goodies. Speaking of goodies, what do we get? Well, of course, we get our thermocouple because the BTMETER, of course, it does temperature in both Celsius and Fahrenheit, so this will come in handy. As well, you get your standard BTMETER leads. Yeah, these are sort of the Holt Peak variety. In fact, you might have noticed some similarities here. Holt Peak probably is the OEM on this, but anyway, that's a whole other story. Now these leads are gargantuan. Yeah, they're big, and I like big leads. What can I say? 20 amps, 1000 volt Cat 2 rating, so they are designed to carry some juice. Now, nice sharp tip. No, it's not gold plated, but it really is. Ouch, pointy. Oh, wow. As well, you have that really nice finger relief here. Give you a little more grip when you're down in the nitty-gritty on that PCB. Nothing fancy, no silicone wrap here, just standard PVC. There's the shrouding on the end. And in terms of the actual fit of those test leads, look at that in there like a glove, solid. Oh yeah, you know, you could swing from the trees with this. Honestly, that is a really nice tight fit. The 6,000 count BT-770N also comes with a user manual. And you know what? This is one of the few like real user manuals. It looks like a user manual. Good quality paper. We have all the specs and general information in 3 languages: Chinese, German, and English. Booyah. I know what you're asking, Darren, what did you pay for this little beast? 25 bucks US. That's right, 25 bucks. And I'm telling you, this is probably, well, depending on how well it does, it can be one of the best deals out there in cheapo meter land. We'll soon find out. Now, BTMETER doesn't have a particular color scheme. They come in blue. I've seen them in the odd yellow, now orange. Yeah, whatever. This one, I actually like the look. Looks good. It is a plastic housing, and it has a slightly better than normal grippy feel to it. You've got those little indents on the molded plastic as well. It gives it a really good feel. Now, one thing I really like is that sort of Holt Peak style tilt stand. Now you can tell it basically goes all the way down. So you could hang this anywhere you want, and as well comes with a magnet. That's right, they thought of everything. But really nice versatility here in terms of overall placement of the meter itself, so good stuff. If you recall, a while back I did a review on the 760C from Holt Peak, and yeah, a lot of similarities in design, rotary selector, what have you, and another big similarity is the fact those input shields here. Great idea. So when you're selecting different ranges, and you might have an oopsie moment where you're forgetting to do your due diligence and pull out those input jacks before you switch the rotary selector, well, this will protect you from such a faux pas. Really nice addition, and I mean, on a cheap multimeter like the 770N, wow, very impressive. Speaking of that selector switch, really nicely done. Has a really good clickety click, clackety clack. As you know, I love my clackety clack, and that ain't no quack quack. What the hell does that mean anyway? Overall, it's just a really solid, tactile, not going to get lost between ranges, really good feeling selector switch. Let's take a closer look at the selector switch, starting off at the 3 o'clock or off position. Volts, AC/DC. Millivolts from 60 to 600. Multiple ranges, resistance, capacitance, continuity, and diode. HFE or transistor. Frequency up to 10 MHz. Non-contact voltage. Dual temperature, Celsius and Fahrenheit. High current amps mode up to 600 amps with an optional clamp meter. Microamps AC/DC. Milliamps AC/DC up to 800 milliamps. High current amps up to 20 amps. Finally, a secondary off position. At the top of the meter, we have our select switch, hold, range, rel, frequency, duty cycle, and finally the max min. At the bottom, we have our high current amp input, microamp, milliamp, and temperature, as well as the optional clamp, volts, resistance, frequency, diode, continuity, and capacitance. And finally, on the far right, our common or ground input. Oh yeah, you may have noticed it has the auto power off, as well as the auto backlight. Take a look at that shortly. So you can tell this is quite a feature-packed multimeter for 25 bucks. Hey, now does it perform as good as it looks? I hope so. Let's take a look at that BT meter display. Oh yeah, nice and crisp, big type fonts, 6,000 counts of resolution, and overall, pretty sweet. Now, this does have the auto backlight feature. It is not able to be invoked manually. Nothing I can press here can turn on that backlight. What has to happen is the lights have to go down. So let's just try that. Let's just bring down those lights. Still a little bit on the bright side. And wow, you know what? Still too bright. There you go. The backlight is now enabled. Now we have a bit of bleeding here on the left, but overall, I mean, besides that bleeding, it is quite nice. Not too bright. Excellent quality and no contrast problems, issues. Seems to be quite good at most angles. I like it. I like it. Now, one of the cool features, I'm going to have to zoom out for this one. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. The rotary selector switch has an LED which automatically becomes illuminated when the backlight is enabled. Very, very cool. So you can see that range switch in the dark. Now remember, this was 25 bucks. Whoa. Awesome. Okay, DC accuracy time, 2.5 volts is what we want. Actually, we want 2.500 and 2.506. Pretty darn close. Let's try now for 5.00. And, oh, look at that, 5.011. Awfully close. Okay. Next up, 7.50 volts. And, hey, beauty. Finally, we'll want to look at 10. 10. Do we have 10? 10.01. Oh, yeah. Good stuff, Mr. BT meter. Give you a quick look at those input protectors. So right now we're in high current amps. You can see that the high current input is exposed. 20 amp input right there. Now when we go to milliamps, yeah, so it blocks the high current input and it now enables the microamp / milliamp. Very cool. Resistance is next. So I've got a high precision resistor here, and of course the decade block. So we're just going to see how good this beast is at resistance. So without further ado, let's start off with that 8.25 ohm resistor right here. And are we in resistance? Yes, we are. 8.3. Wow, very close. A little better than I was expecting. We have a lab resistor here, 100 ohm. Oh yeah. Very, very close. Excellent. Sitting at 1 mega ohm right now with the decade box. Here we go. Let's take it up to 3 mega ohm. Yeah. 6 mega ohm. Looking good. Let's try 10. Survey says 10. Back to 3.2. 3.22. 3.222. Oh yeah. 400K, 440K, 444K. It is a day of fours. 444. Oh, so close. Overall, looks pretty good. Perhaps, once again, not the fastest, but definitely fast enough and accurate. Loving it. Next up is capacitance. This goes up to 100,000 microfarad, 100 millifarad. Excellent. Starting off on the low range, this is a film capacitor. This is 1000 nanofarad or 1 microfarad and showing up as 979 nanofarad. Nice, nice, nice. I'm going to try this 0.1 microfarad. Survey says 108 nanofarad. Pretty darn close. Finally, we're going to try the big boy. 100,000 microfarad. 100 millifarad. I love it when these cheapos can do such high capacitance. Here we go. Let's see how fast it takes to get there. It is in, and whoopsie. Let's just try that again. Alrighty, here we go. It is thinking. Now in millifarad range. And we're getting an OL. Oh, there it is. There we go. 98.9 millifarad. Spot on. Hey, that didn't take too long at all. Probably around 6-7 seconds. As good as some of the much more expensive meters. Great stuff. Diode time it is. Gonna start off with those LEDs. See if we can light them all up. Fingers crossed. Here we go, starting off with the green LED. Yes, it is lit ever so barely. There's the forward voltage drop over to the yellow. Looking good, 2 for 2. Over to the red, no problems there. Let's find out how the blue is. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I am seeing 5 for 5, and indeed, look at that forward voltage drop. 5 for 5, illumination and forward voltage drop. Excellent. Well, you know what? Check out a standard diode. No problems there. We don't have that nice audible beep, however, but hey, you can't have everything. Output voltage in diode mode is a balmy 3.95 volts, just under 4 volts. Beauty. Already Aphrodite, continuity time in the Cheapo Nation is about to begin. Standard stock test probes. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Holy moly cannoli. Yeah. Oh, wow. Very little pressure. And once again, I have not done anything with these leads. I haven't even cleaned them with isopropyl alcohol. Nada. Nothing. This is what you get right out of the box. Whoa. Beautiful. Okay, let's try the Probe Masters. Probe Masters are in the house. Here we go. Wow. Beautiful. No pressure at all required. The only thing that's missing, unfortunately, is we don't have that nice visual indicator at the top, because I know we've got some LEDs up there, but they are not at all interacting with the continuity, but that's okay. Hey, a little bit louder with the Probe Masters, but that's about it. .9 decibels output volume in continuity. Here we have a DC voltage showdown. On the far left, started the show, the BT-770N. In the middle, Hewlett-Packard E2377A, and this one is courtesy of Mike Steen. He sent this in for repair quite a while back, and it is finally ready for delivery, Mike. So, it's on the way after this review. On the far right, we have the UNI-T UT191T, and that is one super uber accurate multimeter. Sitting at 100 millivolts right now. Here we go. And we're sitting at just under, actually at 1.2 volts even. And look at that across the board, 1.202, 1.200, and 1.200. Amazing. Further up, 12.89 volts, according to the power supply, 12.88 for the Hewlett-Packard, 12.9 for the 191T, and 12.91 for the BT meter. Oh yeah, 15.90 volts, according to the power supply, 15.92 for the BT meter, 15.89 for the HP, and 15.9. They are oh so close. Let's take this Siglet power supply up to 32 volts even Steven. 32 even Steven for that ever so accurate 191T. In the middle, wow, look at that. 30-plus-year-old HP meter, maybe even older, sitting just under 32 volts. Wow, and 32.0 volts for the BT meter. Hey, what can I say? I would use any of these meters any day in terms of DC accuracy. They are all spot on. Hey, the BT meter does not have a bar graph, no can do, but the Hewlett-Packard and the UNI-T do, and I thought, hey, you know what, they're both out and about, why not check out that bar graph? Here we go, from about 1 to 2 volts. Let's see if there's any difference. Oh my goodness, look at that. I don't know, looks like the HP has got it a little bit quicker than the UNI-T. Well, that old boy is still moving. Oh my god. I was not expecting that. Cool. Right now we're in high current amps, 7.5 amps. Let's take it up a notch. All the way to 10.3 amps. And yeah, we do not have that high current warning. That's too bad, but we are definitely not having any issues in terms of the high current voltage reading. Looking good. Let's bring it back down a tad. Down to 280 milliamps. Alrighty. Right now we have it hooked up in clamp mode to a space heater, and you can see we're pulling in around 12 amps or so. Really handy feature. This is not a BT meter clamp add-on I'm using. This is from Maztec, the MS3302, but it will work pretty well with any additional optional clamp that you can get out there. And Whole Peak also sells their own version of the clamp like this. It'll work with all of them. Here's a Sanwa clamp hooked up to the same splitter, and it's coming in at around 12.5 amps or so. So, hey, pretty darn close for the BT-770N. All things considered, it is not a clamp meter per se, but with that optional accessory, you can turn it into one. Neat. Checking out the EF feature, non-contact voltage right now. Just put it into NCV mode, and away you go, no buttons to press. I'm getting mixed results. Definitely not the most sensitive NCV out there. Be interesting to see what that NCV filament looks like, but yeah, it's a pass. 770 ships with a temperature probe as well, but don't forget we have an ambient temperature sensor on board, so you don't need to insert the temp probe if you want to just measure the ambient temperature. 20 degrees Celsius right now in the lab, and we can switch that as well to Fahrenheit, 6 to 8 degrees Fahrenheit. I'd say that's pretty well the perfect temperature. Take a quick look at that frequency. Remember, we have a 10 megahertz cap on the BT meter, and sitting at 7 megahertz right now with a sine wave. Amplitude is 3 volts peak to peak. 8, 9, 10 megahertz, 9.999. Looking good. 11 megahertz, well, guess what? Yeah, we can get there too. 12, hey, 13, 14, 15. Nope, it's maxing out at 14 megahertz, but hey, that is still better than spec. Awesome. All right, time for some high voltage fun. I'm gonna take it up to 500 volts first. Remember, this has a 1000 volts DC max. 3, 2, 1. 563 volts, no worries there. No high voltage alert, however. All right, moving up the line, 1000 volts is next. Whoa, put those safety goggles on. 3, 2, 1. And we're over 1000. We have that high voltage alert audible. Beauty. Let's try that one more time. 1000 volts. Yeah, it takes it without blinking. Good stuff. Teardown time it is, and we have one nice threaded insert here to get into the back of the housing, and look at that, we have access to those 2 fuses, and I just measured the milliamp fuse, and it is a nice 5x20, so definitely easy breezy to get if you accidentally blow it. Powered by 9-volt battery, but hey, instant fuse access on a cheapo meter. Oh, I am feeling the love. Here we are in, and look at that holster. Rubberized, you know, nothing great, but hey, you know what? It does the job. Easy breezy. Here is the back of the meter. No shielding. Hey, well, you know what? For this price, I didn't expect too much, but anyway, it is what it is. Finally, let's take a closer look at the PCB. Ooh. Here we are taking a look at those input jacks, and holy moly cannoli, check it out. I was not expecting that. Wow, they're not the split variety. No, they are screwed in there, and we have a nice little hex nut holding them in tight. Whoa, for $25 cheapo, yeah, they have definitely gone above and beyond. Very, very nice. Nice big wide current shunt over here at the very bottom. And once again, here's the fuses, 5x20s. 10 amp, 250 volt on the high current, 800 milliamp, 250 volt on the milliamp. On the voltage side, we have one lonely PTC over here. Yeah, that's it. That's all. We have a diode clamp at the top as well. A little bit of blast protection here on the sides. Nice. We have our big 9-volt doohickey hanging out of the middle of the meter. Right here, of course, that is going into the back of the casing, so it's not really dangling there per se. The main IC here is cobbed. Here's our speaker slash piezo, and we have our tin can oscillator at the top. And whoa, look at the NCV. Oh, who's your daddy? Now that's what I like to see, a long filament extending from left to right, the whole circumference, well, not the whole circumference, but at least pretty well the entire top of the meter. Nicely done. Now, you know, all things considered, it really wasn't the greatest NCV. Perhaps it needs a little bit of tweaking, but they're definitely stepping in the right direction. Over here at the top left, we have a programmable header. That's where they do that factory calibration. And looks like we have a VR1 trim pot over here as well. Ooh, let's just get that into the view, shall we? Right here, we have our VR1 little trim pot for those of you that like to live on the wild side. Let's flip this nasty over and see what we have. Turning this baby over, and look at that. Look at those selector tracks. Holy moly, that looks really good. Was not expecting this on a $25 cheapo. Here down at the bottom, that is an extra little bit of housing going on. This is probably to facilitate that shielded input jack cover that comes back and forth, and we'll take a look at that in just a second. In the middle of the selector as well, we've got that one LED on the other side. And yeah, check out the nice big blobs of solder here. Looking good. Really, I am blown away by the attention to detail. Overall, very nice, thick PCB as well. I am liking what I see. Here are the LEDs for the top of the meter. That's for our NCV detection. Of course, we have our HFE slot over here for the transistor test. And look at that nice big honkin' display here. Very, very nice. Well, you know what? What can I say? Very impressed with that side of the board. Let's take a look at the other side. Here are the soft touch buttons. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're all onto one molded assembly. Really nice. This is just a top plastic that fits over the LED housing. And there are the tracks for the selector switch. Once again, this is on a ball and spring type selector mechanism. And here at the bottom, there is our standard little shield. So that is what is protecting those inputs. Finally, at the top of the meter here, I'm not sure if this is actually the onboard temperature sensor or not, but it is right in the middle of those LEDs. Oh, interesting. Anyway, at the end of the day, wow, what can I say? Super, super nicely done. BT meter. Yeah, gonna put it all back together and come back with my closing thoughts. Closing thoughts on the BT meter BT-770N. And whoa, you know, I like this guy. It is worth every cent. Lots of attention to detail inside and out, and man, is this thing loaded. Definitely, this is one of the best bargains you can get in the cheapo round. We're talking 25 bucks US. Wow, you get so many features with this meter. It's just flabbergasting. True RMS, 6,000 counts, even has that optional clamp accessory which works perfectly out of the box. And, you know, what can I say? I am in love with this little guy. The auto power off, auto backlight, those nice input protectors, the illuminated LED dial. I mean, the list goes on. Never had any problems with this. Been using it off and on the past week. It has worked perfectly. This is definitely one to put on your short list. Biggest downside is just the lack of input protection. Yeah, they could have done better in the fuse department. At least would have been nice to see bigger fuses, a couple of PTCs, MOVs, you know, just a little bit more attention to detail in the safety department. There's no third-party certification, so yeah, keep it on the low voltage side and you'll be just fine. The BT meter BT-770N gets a solid 4.0 4.5 out of 5 stars. Yes, this is one rock and roll, hot to trot, good looking meter that really does it all. Thanks for watching this review, everybody. Hey, lots more coming up on this holiday season. That's right, Christmas is only about a week away. Oh, wow, time flies when you're having fun, even if you have to wear a mask. Hey, stay tuned for that Christmas draw on Christmas Day. Leave a comment and win a UNI-T multimeter. Hope you enjoyed this review. Till the next one, keep on testing.